Greetings, MelVee family, wherever I find you in any part of the world. This is your host for this podcast on the go. My name is Melusi Ndhlalambi. What a privilege to have you join us today. I hope you have subscribed. I hope you have liked this video and you're sharing with someone else out there. If not, just leave a comment. That will be good enough for us, and we'll be very happy to interact with you and get to know what are the issues you're interested to know about from us or from around the world. Today, I am in a... Guess where I am? Can I give you a drum roll? Guess where I am? You wouldn't know, my friends. I'm in one of the precious kingdoms in Africa. You would know it as Lesotho. And I'm sitting here with a very important colleague of MelVee in this country. A brother that when I came in here, they said, you've got to speak to this one. So greetings, Ntate Tsepiso, Sesioana.
Thank you, Melusi, for having me.
What a privilege to have you here today.
I'm honored actually.
I'm the one who must be honored. I mean, coming into the kingdom and getting the best of Basotho leaders and technical people is quite an interesting.
By the way, you might want to know that everybody, most of us who are here in Lesotho, we all came from, most of us came from different places. Lesotho was never built by one nation.
Wow.
During the Difatani, as we know
Umfecane, yes. The Zulu displacement.
As people were running away, Kim Musheshe brought us together.
Oh.
And we came here and made this one big nation. Wow. So all of us here mostly come from all sorts of backgrounds.
So you could have Nguni blood running in your
actually,
veins.
my wife is. My mother is actually Eletebele, which is all the Ngunis. In Lesotho, they are called Matebele and the Tepus.
I'm Ndebele.
Oh, come on.
I'm of those Ndebele who ran away with Umzelegazi.
I'll talk to the minister tomorrow and find out if we give you a citizenship here.
I would love that.
My point.
I would love that.
My point.
I would be a citizen of Lesotho, my friends. So, Tate Sesioana, tell us a little bit about yourself and what you spend time doing in this kingdom. What really gets you fired up every morning when you wake up?
Okay, fine. Maybe we need to get to put the context on my background.
Yes.
I'm born of two ambitious parents.
All right.
My father and my mother are very ambitious.
All right.
And I'm fortunate enough to still have them today.
Oh, how old are they now?
My father is 83 now? Mm-hmm. And my mother is about to turn 80.
Wow.
Yes. And we just buried my grandmother 2 years back. She was 101.
My Lord.
So you see how long I'm going to be around.
Wow.
We live here. If Jesus doesn't come, he will find us alive. I think we are one of those who are going to be here for that long.
Oh my.
So I grew up, brought up, and my parents have always been pumping a lot of, big dreams in me, telling me I'm going to be a big person. Wow. I'm going to be, as a firstborn, they really gave me that feeling that I should not aim for anything lower. But guess what? Yeah. My school did not really tally with the dreams.
Really?
As it was. I failed the first grade.
Right in the first year?
The very first year. And
wow.
I can tell why I failed it. I didn't really like this thing of being pinched. I remember I still had this teacher that used to pinch me.
Yes.
And I didn't think that was cool.
That was nice. That was nasty.
So I think I was 5, and I found it wise not to attend to that school during the day.
But your parents would think you're at school.
Yes.
So where would you go hide?
There's a donga not too far between the house and the school. I would usually spend most of my day there and wait for the colleagues to come down. And then how they found out that I had not gone to school. I used to have pocket money.
All right.
And my age didn't tell me that I had to. Actually, so my mom will actually look into the pocket, and if she finds it, she knows I've not been to school.
Okay.
Until I knew that this was a problem. So I used to throw it away when I go home because I knew that's how I was going to get picked.
Oh, my.
Yeah. But then I was then my primary alone.
Yeah.
I went to 5 different schools.
What was the problem?
Maybe that's why I'm doing the work I'm doing now.
Yes. Okay.
Because I was failing.
In class?
In class. I was not doing well. And I was being moved from one school to another.
I see.
Because they really wanted to get it right.
I see.
So there was a time when I stayed with my aunt. There was another time when I stayed with my grandparents. At each stage, there was a problem that was being solved. Like when I was with my aunt, is because they wanted to make sure that I attend classes. So my aunt was a teacher.
All right.
So that way,
she would look into your homework,
and she would also make sure that I attend the classes.
All right.
Then I started fighting. Then they thought, okay, maybe I was born in myself. Maybe I need to go to Leribe, which is Emmanuel Mission.
All right.
You might know of it. That's where my father comes from. Both of my parents are Adventists, not born, but Adventists. So when I was at Emmanuel,
yeah,
I think they was been taken away from this fighting.
All right.
Then I was there. The fighting kind of subsided, but I had an older brother who wasn't very good with me. You know, we call brothers, cousins are called.
Yes, brothers, yeah. We don't have this English thing of saying
they're my
brothers,
brothers, my point.
Nieces, yeah.
So he used to become quite physical with me. He was older. If you call abuse, I know exactly what it means because he really took it out on me.
Oh, no.
And then after that, I failed. So I had to come back.
All right.
To myself.
To
my
your
parents.
now, yeah.
And I'm coming back as a teenager.
Oh, my.
And my father is not ready to raise up a teenager. He still knows me as a boy. But at Emmanuel, I had to associate with people who were older than me by 5 or so years.
Okay.
Coming from Maseru, well-dressed, I was introduced to girls very early.
You're a teenager as well.
I'm a teenager as well. So when I come, and when I talk about teenager, I'm not talking about 16, 15. I'm talking about, was I even a teenager? Is 12 a teenager?
No, adolescent.
Okay,
Still
call it
adolescent,
that.
yeah.
Call it that. So I was already practicing, if you understand what I'm saying.
Wow.
So when I got here, my father also had to work very hard on me.
To cut off this.
And he never managed. He never managed. Sure. He never managed to cut, but he used all his physical effort to cut it. And like I'm saying, he never managed. I went throughout the entire high school.
Yeah.
Not doing well, just coping.
Wow.
Just coping. But
so at that time, what are you telling yourself about what you're going to do when you grow up?
Oh boy, actually, that's a very important question.
Yeah.
I was going to be a pastor.
Okay.
Ask me why.
Why?
Because I knew the kind of lifestyle I was living was not going to lead me to heaven.
All right.
So I thought being a pastor would help.
All right. All right.
Because I could see that my life was a mess.
But was there anyone who was a pastor in your family?
Okay, no. My mother was a colporteur.
All right. She sold books.
She sold books. And she used to have these statements that goes like, it's so nice to work for the Lord.
Wow.
And for me, I understood working for the Lord. Then I didn't think I could be a colporteur, though I did a bit of that. But I thought being a pastor would really be an ideal. But I remember the other day, I just done one of the things that I used to do. I mean, I was expelled from school for using stuff, if you know what I mean.
Wow.
My father hunted me at some other time, and he thought if I could just pass and
just
die,
end this boy, end
yes,
the life of this
things
boy.
would be better. So that because I was ashamed. At home, I was actually ashamed at home. In my house, the village knew that it was a worship place. Children used to come every Wednesday and Friday.
All right.
But I was leading this kind of life.
Wow.
Not that I liked it, but I was in it.
Yeah, you found yourself, but how did you find yourself in it? Was it the abuse? Was it just the education that was troubling you?
Then I didn't understand. I just knew that it was more natural to behave that way.
It kind of got you the attention you needed.
Yes, you could say that.
And now you were the talk of the
place.
Yes.
I was the talk of the place. I got the attention that I needed, and.
But you knew.
I knew. You know that thing where they say, "I'll put enmity in you." That discomfort. That thing that says it is not well, even when you think it should be well, has always been there.
All right. All right.
Has always been there.
All right.
So I thought if one day I could just be a pastor,
Then this will all
I will all this will come to an end. Yeah.
And so what happened?
Okay, I did my matric. I didn't do well.
All right.
I didn't do well. Actually, interestingly, I only passed Lesotho.
Oh.
Yeah, and in Lesotho, we are marked in UK.
Yes,
Cambridge.
the Cambridge. Yes.
So the only credit I got was Lesotho.
Oh, my.
So I had to repeat Form 5, I think 2 or 3 times.
This is Form 4.
No, matric.
Oh, matric, which is your,
Our matric.
Yes.
I had to repeat my matric for about 3 times, just for me to get permission to Bethel College.
Wow.
And Mrs. Hlubi, she was Miss Hlubi, now Mrs. Motor.
All right.
She was...
Mrs. Motor, the wife to the pastor?
Yes, she was
right.
Miss Hlubi then.
Yes.
She was a register. My parents, I think they knew her. I don't know, from Bethel or something. She was a register, and I was kind of negotiated
into. Please help my kid.
If he does not meet the academic requirements, let him go in.
Man.
So that's how I found myself.
What were you going to study there?
Theology.
Oh, the dream is coming
alive. The dream is coming alive. But I have to tell you something before that. The other day, I just done one of the things that I used to do. I don't remember which one was that. Yeah. And I said to my mom, one day I'm going to be a pastor. And she said, that's blasphemy.
Oh, my.
That's how bad things were.
Because she knew.
Yes. I mean, how can you say a person you do this and you are saying you're going to be don't be blasphemous. Man, things were really bad. Then I went to Bethel.
Yeah? Bethel years.
Yeah. Bethel was
So
Bethel.
which years are these now?
87.
1987.
1987, I'm at Bethel.
Bethel is the Adventist college.
Bethel is Adventist college. I'm there.
Yeah.
A different environment altogether. Beautiful. Something that my soul wanted.
All right.
And I felt I was at the right place.
All right.
At the right place. And I didn't know myself to be good academically.
Okay.
I knew because the background had proved otherwise.
Yeah.
So I knew that I was not good academically. So when I got to Bethel, there are heroes in the campus. Yeah? Even the teachers, you would have that one who's a hero. And there was this guy, Mark Heavens Chuma.
Okay.
You might know him. He's from Zim. Mark Heavens Chuma, and he was one of my lecturers.
All right.
And that guy played a role that he is not aware of.
Wow.
Because he just acknowledged me.
Wow. He just said,
you are good. He said,
I can see you.
He said, you are good. And he said what my parents said. He said, this guy is going to be big. And he said it in class. I don't know if he's aware of that. I don't know if he still remembers that. But it ringed and got home.
Wow.
And then from then, I started to say, this is the time.
So you said, I'm going to search for that greatness.
Man, I started going to read in the library.
Praise the Lord.
Vocabulary was a problem.
Yeah, you had to find it. It's
Man,
long. Yes.
I remember I used to have 2 or 3 dictionaries. Because a textbook will say this.
Yes.
And I will need to know what it means.
In the dictionary.
And then the dictionary will say another. Then I'll need another one.
Oh, my Lord.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
So it was quite a struggle. But I remember the first time I saw C on my script. Tsepiso, Sesioana, C. I mean, that was foreign.
Wow. This was like an awakening of some sort to say, I can do this thing.
Is this possible?
Wow.
And then from there, things started changing. Things started changing. Now, at Bethel, we opened January.
Yeah.
Easter, I was nominated to be one of the speakers at alumni. That's how fast the transformation had gone. My parents couldn't believe it when they got to school.
Wow.
It was a transformation.
So you go through Bethel, you're nominated, you finish Bethel.
Yes. Okay, I did finish. Did I finish? Oh, I was excused. I said I was excused. NR, if you know what I'm saying. Yeah,
What?
yeah. I mean, some habits die hard. Yeah?
What has happened?
I was doing theology good, but some old habits were still there.
Creeping in.
We're still there.
Your sins will find you out.
My point.
Oh my Lord.
So I actually know what happened, but I'll not give you the details.
No, let's spare the guys. Those who know, they know.
Yes. But I was just requested not to get back to school.
Oh my Lord.
But there was also a good excuse. They said, you also have to work on your matric.
All right.
So because you have just done your diploma 2 years,
Yes.
we will not let you do
The degree, the honors, yeah.
So you have to go and work on your matric. But there was an underlying reason.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. If you know, you know.
Yes. So I had to come and do that.
All right.
Yes, and then I completed with Greeks
Wow.
later on.
Wow.
Then I went to Kangele,
Eastern Cape.
Eastern Cape, and that's where I started teaching.
All right.
It's an Adventist institution,
Yes.
high school. Now, I met children of my caliber, children that were coming from different
All right.
backgrounds, and we
Yes.
clicked.
All right.
And then I started enjoying counseling them, which is what I'm currently doing now.
I get the link.
You understand
So this
what
is
I'm
where a new pathway.
The new pathway.
Wow.
Because I could identify.
And you've already gone through that.
I'd
road.
gone through that. I'd gone through that.
And you know where the pitfalls.
I mean, he speaks, I hear him.
Yes.
Then I developed this interest in psychology, and I started studying psychology.
Okay.
And after Kangele, where I was dealing mostly with kids, I decided to come back to Lesotho to come and I was also excused.
From that school.
Yeah, Bethel, I remember there was also a reason that made me to be excused. This one I can mention.
Yeah. What was it?
Because actually, even after that, I was also excused further on. Money. I love money.
You wanted it.
Oh, I love it, and I know how to make it.
Wow.
I love it, and I know how to make it. So I was making money
On the side.
with
these classes.
Yeah, no.
Something else completely
I was
different.
selling
Oh,
omelets.
you're an entrepreneur.
I'm an entrepreneur. That's what I am.
Yes.
Even here in Lesotho, that's where my business is.
So your skill gets you fired.
My point.
Because you're in the wrong place.
No. The interesting thing is, I found it hard to follow the conventional way of teaching.
Yeah.
So
from morning to afternoon,
so
marking books.
within a quarter, we're done with the syllabus.
You've got so much time.
We were done with the syllabus.
Wow.
I mean, my children all passed. All my children passed. External examinations, they all passed.
Wow.
Because I thought, man, you just know it should be done. It's not that difficult.
Yeah.
And I'll just show people how it is done.
And they go.
I don't understand this whole year waste of time. So in the meantime...
So you used to, once you're done with that, you go and make some money. You sell products, you do this.
Yes.
And it's not allowed in your contract.
It's not allowed.
All right.
It's not allowed.
And then, so you come back, you've discovered your passion.
Yes. So
You
I
come
started
back to Lesotho.
to now do business.
Which year is this one?
Now this is 96.
Lesotho is already a free country by then.
Yes. I'm coming to the country, which maybe you may want. Okay, I'm coming into the country. At that time, Lesotho had just gone back to a democratic government.
Yes.
And maybe a little bit of background of Lesotho that I'm now coming into.
Yeah. Yes.
Lesotho, as many of you may be aware, was never colonized.
Just like Ethiopia.
Exactly.
All right.
So,
and yet, interestingly, you are your border is with one country.
Within one country.
Yeah, you are surrounded by South
Africa.
And so the Boers and the British.
That is actually where the problem was. We were fighting with the Boers.
Yes.
And we really won a number of fights with the Boers. They couldn't.
The mountains helped.
Yeah, the mountains helped. The skill helped. The thinking helped.
Yes.
We also actually had gun wars where we fought. We took their guns and killed them.
All right.
Yes, we fought.
Were you part of that war?
No. My ancestors. Their blood is in me.
Oh, yeah.
Their blood is in me. Their blood is in me. So we fought, and I actually come from a clan, Basia, who were also good warriors. So But then as it got intensified, I don't know, I think Ukraine has to learn something from us. We had to ask the British to come to our assistance.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. And
it's quite interesting because the British and the Boers were perennial fighters.
Remember, they were also fighting. They were enemies.
Anglo-Boer
war.
Yeah.
So we took a side. We said, okay, fine. Guys, please protect us.
All right.
Protect us. And remember, at that time, maybe it's also important for you to know that the French guys were the first missionaries in this country.
French?
Yes.
Wow.
Who introduced Christianity in Lesotho.
Is that so?
Yes.
Wow.
So
these were the Huguenots, if I'm not mistaken, from our history, the Huguenots from France.
Because
they were
I don't
also
think so. This one, the Cresolis or something, it was 1830.
1830. That's a long time ago.
That's a long time ago. The Catholics joined 1864.
Okay.
And after that, I think the Anglicans came, but the Anglicans also came with the government.
All right.
So I think the advice was from the British, from the European to Kim Musheshe, the first was, why don't you ask the British to protect you?
All right.
So we were then protected. So that kind of seized the war. And that's what retained us as a country.
So you never had any power that colonized you?
No, we didn't.
All right.
We didn't. Hence, we never had to fight for our liberation. But I should also state that though we were not colonized, the British ruled us. We still had our principal chiefs.
What did you expect them to do?
Of course. Not only did they rule us, but upon when borders were being set.
Yeah, they set borders for you.
Yes, and they gave a lot of our land to South Africa.
Because from here to Bloemfontein, these are one people.
No, actually, our border is at Lekwa. Do you know Lekwa?
Yeah, Lekwa, yeah.
Yes, Lekwa. It's actually Lekwa.
Yeah.
It is actually.
It means that's
even then.
Yeah, even then, yeah.
And the river that is now called Caledon in Sesotho is Mohokahare, here inside.
Oh, so it's supposed to be part of your territory.
Lekwa, yeah.
It's
the whole Free State is ours and a part of Natal.
Wow.
That's why. Now here's the interesting part. Though they ruled, we still were run by our own chiefs.
So this is more like a feudal system.
Exactly. We were still run by our own chiefs.
All right.
They were just more in the government, not in the government per se, in the protection side. Taxes,
Yes, collection of taxes. Municipality
but
services.
day-to-day running was done by our chiefs still.
All right.
Yes.
That was a very interesting system.
A very interesting one.
So you are coming into that system. Obviously, there are downsides to it.
Yes.
And obviously, there's a history to...
And this is where the thing is now. Kim Musheshe, who is the founder, he was, it is not, so well spoken, but these are facts. His first son was not his favorite, per se.
All right.
And he loved the granddaughter, and having one, understand why.
Okay.
And the granddaughter, he wanted the granddaughter to rule, not his son.
All right.
So he decided that his granddaughter should be married by his son, something like that. But this is what happened, so that I give you the context.
Yeah.
Lesotho is big, so there's an area that is called Matsieng, which is from Maseru upward, and then there's another one called Leribe, which is Molapo. That's the second son.
All right.
Molapo is the son.
So these are the names of the sons.
The sons. So somehow he was inclined to Molapos. And the Litsias were the rightful heirs.
All right.
Are we okay?
Yeah.
And that has really created a context that puts us into what we are in today. Because then the Molapos knew that they were favorites, and they wanted to take over.
And it's their right to do so.
But he's a second born. He can't.
All right.
Cain and Abel.
Yes, the older one must.
The older one.
Even Jacob and Esau.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
So when independence came in 1966, the question was how much power is going to be given to the king?
All right.
And how much power is going to be given to the prime minister?
Yes.
Are we okay?
Yes, the political head.
Now, the king was obvious. We know he's going to be the first son.
Yeah.
But now, Leabua, Jonathan, being the Molapo side, wanted to take the ownership of the government.
All right.
So that the king becomes just a ceremonial monarch.
All right. And all the
And all along, he was actually the head of the government. So that's where our fight started.
Okay. And we see them even now.
Yes.
Is this still a continuation?
Now, exactly my point.
Of that old story.
That old story. So, the Catholic Church.
Yeah.
The Catholic Church and the what we call Lesotho Evangelical Church, the French, took sides.
All right.
And that also infiltrated the religion and the Christianity, if you understand.
All right. All right.
So the Molapos were kind of actually the Molapo, the family, the whole Mushasha family was more in the Catholic Church, but we also have the names of our kings from the Roman Catholic. We've got Jonathan, like Labua Jonathan. You know,
right.
it is
that's
those
a
are the Christian
name.
We actually have those names here. But the point I want to make here is, church was seen to be siding.
Okay. With the politics.
Or
the leadership of that
Or
time.
the leadership. And because of that, there was a serious tension between the LEC, Lesotho Evangelical Church, and the Roman Catholic
Church.
You couldn't go to either.
Wow.
But you'd rather walk kilometers and leave the other here if you belong to another denomination.
Okay.
Because it was the myths and the patience kind of thing.
One was more powerful than the other.
That kind of thing.
Yeah, but they were trying to be the one movement. Wow.
And it has just subsided now, but there was that tension. So because of that, we now had the National Party and the Congress Party. The National Party was the Malapos.
Oh, so this thing went into politics.
Yes. National Party was the Malapos. Then the Congress Party was a little bit of what was the commoners.
So one can say
sadly supported by the
religious.
The Litziers.
All right. So one could actually say the politics of Lesotho is very entangled.
Absolutely.
From family feuds.
Absolutely.
To national issues.
Absolutely.
To real political.
Even religion.
And religious.
Even religion.
That's why that space is very deadly.
Yes.
I saw recently when there was a political upheaval in this country that the fighting was brutal.
It can be bad because it's deep. A lot has happened. A lot has happened. People have been buried alive, we are told. People's houses were burned because of that strife. The Congress and the Nationals.
Yeah.
And because the Malabua Jonathan did not win democratically, he decided to do away with democracy. And he ruled this country for about 20 years.
My Lord.
20 years.
My Lord.
Now,
and so we are seeing a build-up of, let me say, repression, for lack of a better word, that has happened over all those years.
Yes.
But you came into this country having been dismissed. Let's pick up that trend of the story, because
so I'm
interested in terms of us looking into what has happened to Lesotho since then.
I'm coming into
and
Lesotho.
You are part of that story.
I'm coming into Lesotho a few years after, because Leabua was toppled by the soldiers. And then the soldiers, I think they also ruled this country for another 20 or so years.
Oh, Lord.
And then after that, the Congress came in. So I'm actually coming in the context of the Congress.
The Congress now.
Now, the Congress came in to rule, but unfortunately for them, the context was not so suitable because the systems in the military, Leabua had made it in such a way that the soldiers and all should be his brothers.
Oh, so the whole family is running
and the
army.
system also.
Jeez.
The whole system also. So the Congress are coming in with their own
ideology
and the army,
agenda.
and there are people who need to find positions, but there are no positions. They're not coming into a vacuum.
It's their time to eat, but the
It's not
plates are
coming
not
to a
there.
vacuum. So I come in, and I'm now interested in counseling.
Okay.
And I need to establish my... Okay, actually I wanted to be a pastor, but it only took years. They also got me out because of money again. Because they were said, I don't know, there's this thing they call conflict of interest,
Yes, it is a real thing.
It is a real thing.
In corporate governance, it
It
is
is
a
real
big
thing.
thing.
Yeah,
Yes.
so I remember I worked few years in church, but they had to say, before I can be ordained, I will have to stop this business.
Yes, on the side.
Yes.
Your business is sold.
But my business was giving me more. Was definitely giving me more money than my the pastoral work.
I know, it's always the case.
So logic just said, okay, fine. You are now, what you are doing basically is pastoral.
Yeah, without the title.
Yes. Why don't you just say, okay, keep your money, and I'll just do this, and you're just enlarging my church.
Yes.
So I started seeing the public now.
All right.
Not just
as
the
your church.
as my church.
Wow.
And this is why currently in the country, I see myself as a counselor of the country, and I'm mostly regarded so.
Man, that's a concept you need to explain more, because you've just said something that's so revolutionary. Because you've broken this box that we call pastoral counseling.
Yes.
Because pastors are trained on counseling as well, isn't it?
Definitely.
When they visit people who are in trouble, who are
Definitely.
bereaved,
Definitely.
That's biblical.
And this is where the problem was.
Yeah.
They saw people come into my office and pay.
Oh, you monetized your skill.
Yes, and pay. That's the business I was doing. People came in and they paid.
And they were getting the service
They were getting
wanted.
the services that they wanted.
And you already...
I mean, they were not contributing any tithe.
Yeah.
So they had to contribute.
Oh, Lord.
To this is how I see money.
Yeah.
And money is a certificate of a service I have given.
Yes. It's an exchange medium.
So if I don't have money, it means I've not served.
It's actually a law of duality in the universe. You know, when you breathe in oxygen, it's coming from somewhere. When you breathe out carbon dioxide, it's going somewhere.
And my clients were very happy to pay. So when I was given that choice,
Yeah.
it was at a time when we have a big project, a multi-billionaire project in this country, where, I mean, we supply South Africa with water. You remember that?
Yes, the Highlands Water
The Highlands
Project.
Water.
Yes.
Phase 2 was supposed to take off immediately. And this was now in 2002.
All right.
But for some reason, it wasn't going to continue. So there was a lot of stress within the company because there was supposed to be restructuring, retrenchment, and all that.
All right.
And man, I had to go and serve.
Wow.
I had to go and serve.
Okay. So how did you contribute?
Oh, I got a contract. I became their counselor and I resigned from church.
A new door has opened. Now it's big.
It's big.
And it's national.
It's national. And it's a national concern. We've got guys who come from Ireland with masters, and they're going to be wasted if they're not going to be well assisted. Who thought they were going to, see this project go through?
Wow.
So I think I saw how I was needed in that corner.
Wow. And you had the passion.
And I had the passion.
Yes.
And I had the language. I had the context.
So the pastoral work had done its grounding.
Not just that.
Yeah.
My life has always been evolutionary, so I don't mind change. Remember, even my own school.
Oh, yes. You were bored with your teacher and all the things
remember
happening.
my primary alone has been 5 different schools. So why should I have one work for the rest of my life? So this thing of working at one place it's never been natural. So
you speak like a millennial. You know, these 2020 young kids.
And yet I'm so old. I'm
with
55. I'm 55. So I said, guys, there are other doors. There are other doors.
Yeah.
There are many other doors.
Wow.
And so I started working with LHDA, Lesotho Highland Water Project.
All right.
And then at that time, Telkom is
the telecommunications company.
Yes. Okay. At that time also, the landline was going down and the cell phones were going high.
up, yes.
New skills were needed. Man, I was on ball, helping the corporate world understand the change.
Yeah.
So
you are now becoming a change management agent.
Exactly.
How to help companies who are stressed because
You
of
just
the
summed
changes.
it up. You just summed it up. And that's actually what we do, bring change. Bring change. Because the thing is, if this is what I'm now doing,
Yeah.
and my colleagues that I was with at high school haven't changed, it means all they need is to change.
Yeah. Transition.
If I was stupid and I was doomed, all you need is to change. Change.
In fact, I want you to lay this space for me here, because this is where I'm mostly interested in.
Okay, sir.
As your story is evolving. So much has happened in this country, both on the religious, the political, the social, and the economic, that has ravaged many families and individuals. And here you are talking about change. Some of this change is intrinsic, it's internal. Someone has to just say, I'll come to my senses now and go do this thing. Some of it is forced. Circumstances and the environment pushes you. But at the end of the day, you all are stressed. You all are challenged. And I wanted to find out from you if you have any statistics or any overview of what are the big things in this country that are causing many families to be on rocky grounds.
Okay, great. Let's first of all look at it from the economical side.
Yeah.
With all this politics, it meant that there was not much of production within the country.
All right.
So many people had to move from Lesotho to go to the mines.
And this is like crossing now that border.
Now they're crossing the border to South
into
Africa.
South Africa.
Yes. So women were left alone. And men migrated to South Africa. That on its own affected how a boy is brought up in this country.
That's
because we're basically fatherless. You know, in America, the black parents are in jail and boys are left alone.
Left alone, yeah.
Ours were not in jail, they were there, but the scenario was that.
Wow.
So there wasn't really a lot of guidance as far as boys were concerned.
You're dealing with a lot of absent fathers.
Exactly.
Because of economic
this
pull factors.
Yeah, exactly. So mothers had to be there to take care of us in the absence of our fathers.
Yes.
Marriages were not necessarily breaking, but they were imbalanced.
Yeah.
Functional, but imbalanced. And we didn't connect with our fathers.
All right.
That is one.
And many of the men who went into South Africa, some of them actually ended up marrying.
My point.
And having second families.
Families in South Africa. And it meant that some of us were not supported by our fathers. So that brought a lot of poverty into the country. Now,
would you say also it made you angry because your father is absent and here you are struggling when he's having it nice?
Not that. Now, there's something interesting that you are bringing up. It made us to hero worship our mothers.
Oh.
And that made it very difficult for our wives when they came in. Because mostly of us, we can't let go of our mothers because we know how far we have come with them.
Wow.
So one of the things that break marriages now is between the in-laws, a husband.
So there's a ripple effect now.
There's a ripple effect.
The daughters-in-law are in trouble.
The daughters-in-law are in trouble because they want to take us out from mothers and say, no. And they say, you need to be man enough. I said, not without this woman.
No, give me waka.
Give me waka.
Yes.
So that's one big thing that you see as a common factor as far as marriages are concerned. We can't just let go of our mothers.
And this is a continuing phenomenon, right? It hasn't stopped even now.
Indeed.
Many of the young Basotho boys are still crossing over.
No. Now, unfortunately, here's actually a very interesting context. Mines have closed. And men have been retrenched.
Yeah.
Now they're staying at home. And now women are beginning to migrate and go and work in the kitchens.
Is that so?
And do you know what has that left us with? Husbands at home now with no wives.
Oh, Lord.
And the power issue is such an issue in marriage as we speak.
Yeah.
Because these women, they come with all the power, money.
Yes.
And men are here idling.
Doing nothing.
Doing nothing. So I can actually say men are endangered in this country as far as that is concerned. The government.
Yeah.
The government is the principal employer, which is another big problem in this country.
Yeah.
So
many people are civil servants here.
civil servants.
They work in one arm of the government or another.
Now, because of that, the government can only take so much. And it must be producing, it must get some money from somewhere.
Yeah.
Now, the coffers are going down big time.
So the economy is under pressure.
Extremely. Now, because the government is the only employer, if you are smart enough, what do you want to do? You want to go and join politics so that you can be where the purse.
You follow where the pockets and the money
Exactly.
is.
And that has been the trend.
But that can have its own consequences.
Horrible ones. Because there's been a lot of consuming than producing. So business world are currently suffering. Why? Because the government being the main employer and also the main provider of business.
Yeah.
Like my government is my client as I speak.
All right.
It gets you go for a year or so without being paid. Now you understand how does that reflect into the economy. So a lot of corruption then starts to brew right there.
I was gonna ask about that.
If I want to be paid, what does that mean? I need to give you something.
To facilitate the payment.
Now, what does that do if now this becomes a norm to Christians?
Oh, Lord. Many are not going to heaven then.
You understand what I'm trying to say? You are in this system.
Many hands are not clean.
Yes, you are in this system where if you tender, you need to know someone.
Oh.
If you need to be paid, you need to know someone.
That's a big challenge for Christians.
Serious. I mean, you're conscious, and you're in this kind of a system.
Yeah.
And it doesn't seem to come to an end.
So we've got a huge corruption challenge in the country. I think Africa in general does struggle with corruption.
And then coming from where I am, I'm expected to come and assist in the corporate world, where people feel this is the only way
to survive.
And
here you're coming to tell me to stop this?
And here who's even going? And I'm actually conflicted myself. Am I even going to be paid? These are challenges.
For even helping.
Am I even safe to call the spade by its name?
But you have to, because
it is
you are a child of God.
That's why that's why you need to be independent. That's why you need not to be afraid.
Yeah.
That's why I think it's one of the things that still make me survive through different governments, because I'm not a slave of any.
Yeah, you are independent.
I'm independent.
Yeah.
I've been invited by a number of parties to come and join.
Yeah.
Because I am on national TV. I've got a program there. I have a program on other radios, and I've got quite a following.
Yeah.
So they say, man, you've got the numbers. Come join us.
So you bring your numbers in.
And I say, they are mine.
Social. They're not yours.
They're not yours.
I'm a social influencer.
And I need to sustain them. Once they're in your hands, I'm not going to be able to sustain them. And I've got my own calling. I've got my own challenge.
Yes.
I want to touch lives and make a difference.
Wow. Now, corruption, family poverty, and disruption of the family. Let's look at the religious side.
Okay.
And I think I want us to land our conversation in really talking about those areas that can transform lives. This podcast is really interested in knowing how we can change lives, how we can inform people, and how we can inspire them for change. We are seeing a world that's collapsing. So when you mention the economic challenges of the economic and the pressure, I think if you look across the landscape of Southern Africa, perhaps the economies we think are still standing are the ones that are supported and propped by the rand. So things are much more smooth in Swaziland, in Lesotho, in Botswana, Namibia, and South Africa. But even the economy of South Africa is in trouble.
Interestingly not.
Yeah.
Oh, this country is something else. Yeah. These people can run flat. You know what I mean?
Nothing.
They
Zero
run-
budget.
The interesting thing about Basotho is
Yeah.
they don't depend on the government. They've never depended on the
So
government.
what system of survival do they have? If it's not... because it's the same story even in Zimbabwe.
Yeah.
The economy completely collapsed.
But we still run.
But people are still exchanging goods and living and,
Yeah.
and importing.
Okay, let's put it this way. Where do I really...
So what is this about Basotho that makes them so resilient?
We have land.
Okay.
We have land. And we've got hands. And we've got brains. What more do we need?
You've got the water.
We've got water.
I don't know.
We may not
I don't know about your weather though, because it's too cold here.
No. we have meat.
Sheep and goats.
We may not have road infrastructure.
Yeah. Let me tell you what happened when I went up north to where I'm doing a project with one of the global agencies here, and I was helping them document stories. So we drive up past Maputswe, past Beria, past all these towns, and then we go up to the north. I can't remember the exact community name, but they'd built a bridge there. So I'm driving my big SUV, and the guys are leading us with the 4x4 in front, and they get to a place, they say, you have to park here.
Yes.
Because you can't go further.
Yes.
The
SUV, you don't know.
And I'm looking at this road, I'm like, I can do that.
Okay.
I can go there. That was a bad mistake.
Yes.
I discovered Lesotho has places where you can't go with a car.
We've got land. We don't have roads.
Wow.
But we are comfortable. Because that soil will give us all the crops that we need. And those animals will give us all the proteins we need.
Wow.
And what more do we need, by the way, after that?
You've water.
We've got water.
And you've got fresh air.
And our houses are our houses.
Yeah, you don't borrow money from the bank to
build.
build.
Our houses. We build our houses. We buy our cars.
Wow. You don't take a loan to purchase.
It's not common. We own things.
Yeah.
So when the economy goes, okay, like now, fuel is 23 Rand 80 in Lesotho.
Yeah.
You park it and you walk.
Wow. Or you get on a horse.
Or you get on a horse. Okay, in town we may not go, but
I've seen
out
lots of
there,
horsemen out there, yes.
Yes.
That ride on a horse.
So we don't really depend so much on the government. But coming to the point that you were making,
Yeah.
you're coming to. However,
Yeah.
the
resilience
yes,
is-
the resilience is done. But this is the thing about when, even though that this is the case, there's a need.
All right.
There's a need. We need electricity. We need those government support, like infrastructure, like roads and things like those.
Yeah.
We need good governance. Now, because of this desperation
Yeah.
that we are in,
Yeah.
fortunately, we are beginning to be religious.
Talk to me about that, because I actually thought Lesotho was always religious for a long time. I mean, I passed by here, I saw John Paul's monument from many years ago.
I think there's a difference
You've
between being
got-
religious and also be looking religious. I mean,
I hear you.
You
I
hear
hear
what I'm
you.
saying?
Yeah.
Like I told you, the
So
mission-
you've got the symbols of religion
Yes,
that
we
we
do.
can see out there.
we do.
There's Maluti Hospital
There's
there.
Maluti Hospital. There are many churches in Lesotho, but the lifestyle, because of the economy, and politics, have really marred the whole Christianity. But I think now politicians have failed us,
Yeah.
and now we are desperate to say maybe we need
Maybe-
to go turn back to God and say, God, come and rescue us.
And so that's why I was to land this discussion on that point. We've looked at the challenges you faced as a typical, maybe one of the many Basotho guys. Many can identify with your story out there. And you have fought through the system by the grace of God, and here you are now. So perhaps for one Mosotho guy out there, or whoever, an African boy, they can sit back and be comfortable looking at you to say, even though you didn't do well and you struggled through the years, with the determination and the passion in the area of your interest, you can achieve anything.
Oh, that goes without saying.
Because that's the place I want to lend our discussion on, and also look at the contribution of the faith of your fathers.
Yes.
In getting you there.
You know, if I was to talk about that, in the midst of this, this is the beautiful part. I've never bribed. I've never found myself in a position where I need to bribe to get job. Not only that, I am often called than me writing a proposal.
We want you to help us with this.
I've never been without work.
You shall
When the
never
Lord
lack.
is leading, when the Lord is leading.
Yeah. I think it's because you've really come to a crossroad of your passion and your giftings.
I suppose. You know, there's never a time. People say, man, we always have something to do. And I said, I don't even know how. But there is always a task to do. And not just at a very high government level, at a high corporate level. As I speak to you now, I have an assignment with the whole Standard Bank in Lesotho, which I'm finishing tomorrow.
In case people don't know how big Standard Bank is, when we were driving around with my boy,
it is in every...
He says, is there any other bank here besides Standard Bank? Because everywhere I'm going, I'm seeing Standard Bank signs.
It's big.
And I said, no, they're there,
big.
but it's just that they're bigger.
It's big. LRA, Lesotho Revenue Authority, they are my clients. I have a lot of assignment I'm doing with them.
Counseling and corporate government.
Basically, what we are trying to do is we are aligning the strategy to the culture.
All right.
Because they've got a wonderful strategy,
but
then they need to align the corporate culture to that strategy. And I love how the guy talks about his capitals. His capitals is spiritual, social, as strategic
Physical?
pillars.
Yes.
It's spiritual, social.
Physical.
No. The other one is going to be human.
Oh, human,
Human.
Human.
We need to capacitate human.
Yeah.
Then it's
It doesn't
innovation.
Innovation.
Yes. The financial is the last one.
All right.
So we've got those capitals. And his premise is you can't do anything without being spiritual. You need to know that what you're doing is right. And he has this concept where he says, everyone innate in us, we want to do right.
That's true.
And this is my philosophy. I knew, even when I was not doing right, I wanted to do right. Remember how I told you?
Yes.
So when I see somebody not doing right,
even in
the context of our politics, when I talk to them, I know that, yes, you are doing this, but I know you don't want to do this. I've been there. I know how it was.
Yeah, let me help you.
That's why even when you go with your manifestos, you can't tell them exactly what you're going to do. You have to tell them what you know you want to do. And this is where I come in.
Yeah.
So
that's quite a high level of assignments you're doing. But let's talk about the faith that drives you to do what you're doing. And perhaps talk to our viewers out there, if you were to talk to the pastors in this country or church people in this country, and by church I'm looking at this whole spectrum of religion in this country, what are maybe the top 3 solutions this country needs to move forward? And I'm not even limiting it to just religion, because what happens in the political world, in the economic world, in the social world, affects the church, affects our spirituality, and affects the way we view God. So talking to the pastors, the religious ministers, and the spiritual people in this country, from you now.
Okay.
We can say the gospel according to Tsepiso.
The first thing I would say is, I think our religious leaders must stop to be must have a stand.
Stand for something.
Stand for something.
Don't be spineless.
Yes, I think there's too much of banana bag, whatever you call that. I think we need strong leadership in church.
All right. So describe that strong.
Something that can call people to order.
Call a spade a spade?
Yes, call people to order, because these politicians and all these other people who are putting the country into this are church members, and I think we need to be strong when we call them to order.
It doesn't seem. It seems like our church has gone into politics and everything.
Yes,
and we are messing up.
But church leaders must remember that ultimately they are leaders.
All right. Ultimately, above everything else.
They are accountable to God, not to people.
Yeah.
And I think I would say, church leaders, let's go back to whom we are accountable to.
That's a powerful point.
And let us not try to be loved by our members.
Or pacified by the riches of
Yes,
those who are corrupting
because
the system.
that has infiltrated that too.
Yeah.
So I think we need to, as pastors, as priests, we need to have that strong stand and be brave enough to call these people to order, because we do have that platform.
They are our members.
They are our members ultimately.
So I hope our pastors are listening out there. Stand up for something, or
Stand
you fall for
up
everything.
for something.
Yeah.
And I also think that
So your second point.
the second point, I also think that as leaders, we must begin to read the game and be contextual.
Strategic thinking.
Yes. I think we cannot talk outside the context.
All right.
We need to address these challenges and see the need that persuade them and address them strategically.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the church should not
So
just
you
be,
can't just import a solution from America.
No.
It has to be.
It has to come from
custom.
inside. Because these are our members. We should not just call them to order, but we should also be seen to be providing strategic solutions
From within the
from
country.
within the church.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think there's more leadership that is more needed, technical leadership. That is not just about Jesus is coming,
Yeah.
but about how can you survive in this context.
The church must not just train us on how to collect tithe.
No.
They must show us how to make
Exactly
that
my
money.
point. We need to understand the context. There's a lot of change, and we should be seen to be taking the lead
Okay.
in understanding the ground
And how the systems operate, government systems.
and the church should be more of an equipping place. People should be proud to say, in my church, I mean, look, in the Old Testament, future was known in religion circle.
That's true.
So strategy was actually in church.
The prophets were telling the kings.
Yes. So we need to read the game. We should now be telling the government
of the
and
day.
the church member, they are our members,
Yeah.
about the trends and say, look, guys, we have done history, and we can now tell that with the fourth industrial revolution,
Yeah.
this is what's going to happen.
I used to tell my church 10 years ago that this congregating one day will end.
My point.
We will be virtual churches. And I remember going to one elder and saying, you might want to watch this sermon on YouTube. You know what they told me? I don't do YouTube on Sabbath.
They need to understand the context.
But now, where are they?
They need to understand the context.
Exactly.
As I speak to you now, there are other places that I just have to. Actually, next week I'll be running most of my sessions from my office.
Virtually.
Virtual.
You don't even need to travel.
This is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
We need as pastors, we need to be ahead on these things and educate.
Exactly.
We need to prophesy. And prophesying is now just reading the game. And this is what leadership is about, anticipation.
Yes, that's it. I like that English. Anticipated.
Anticipate.
Don't react.
Yes, anticipate.
Yeah.
So that our members can be strategically positioned to be better prepared.
Yeah.
I mean, you talk about the second coming of Jesus. Isn't that anticipation?
It is.
And you should strategically position yourself.
And
economically, because that's going to be an issue.
Yeah.
Socially. I mean, your family and everything.
Position them.
You need to position your members, because otherwise they will find themselves hooked and trapped.
And dragged. Yeah.
So you need to be there and say, with this kind of trends, what's going to happen to my flock.
I hear you saying we must be like sons of Issachar, who not only knew the times, but what Israel ought to do.
Exactly.
Meaning we must have the strategy.
We must have the strategy.
We can't go to the world for the strategy. We have it here.
No, there's no world. Remember, that's where I work. There's no world. These are my members.
Oh yeah, this is like your fish pond.
Yeah, these are my members.
Ocean
they
with the
need
seas.
us.
Yeah.
The world needs us as priests, as pastors, as reverends. There's no world where I work.
So the word is go ye therefore into the world, mingle with them.
We are there.
Be
We are
the
there.
salt.
And we need to be strategic. We need to help the politicians with strategies. We should not see ourselves as part of them. We are above them.
We're not a passive group of people.
No, we are above them.
Yeah.
So this will be the last one.
Yeah.
I want to say the leaders of the church must understand that the government is the membership of the church.
That's an interesting one. We don't join political parties.
They
must
join us.
join the church.
We don't join them.
Wow.
Then they should come to us when they need guidance.
Yes.
We should be above them because we'll always be there.
They must join our membership.
That's
But if they are to join our membership, I would say they must confess Christ first.
That's the whole idea. They are already. That's why I said the initial one was call them to order. This is how we.
Because they know the truth.
They know the truth. We should actually call them into that order.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Talk to someone out there who may be discouraged, who may be needing hope, who may be needing faith. You are a pastor. Let's hear the pastor in you. Talk to them. Maybe as you're closing and parting words, what would you like to leave our viewers to remember?
Okay, I'm going to be a little bit rough, ne?
It's all right.
If you are about to lose it quickly so that you do something after that.
Wow.
Don't hang in about to.
Wow. Whatever it is. Whether it's your marriage.
Lose it quickly.
Whether it's your wrong career.
Lose it quickly.
Whether it's your...
So that we can now start. The problem is hanging on the losing.
Flogging
Get done
the
with
dead
it.
horse.
If you're going to make a mistake, make it quickly.
Wow.
So that we can fix it.
Wow. I never thought of life that way.
This imbalance, this was the problem with, the revelation. You are neither hot nor
cold.
Get somewhere.
I see what you mean.
So that we know what
it.
we are dealing with. Have you divorced? Okay, yes, okay.
Yeah.
If we want to divorce,
Yeah.
so that we can see what we do after that.
Be decisive.
Be decisive.
Be clinical and surgical in your cutting.
And after that, we can know whether we are reconciling, we are remarrying.
In fact, you are saying something so critical there. Sorry to jump in. Because many problem-solving situations drag and get very toxic because people are afraid to make the decision.
Make a decision.
And from the moment you start fighting, whether it's in a marriage, you must be quick to say...
I would rather you divorce now and
than
stay
living
divorced
in a toxic...
because we know what to call you.
Yeah.
Then we know how to deal with you. Then you remain in a marriage
Toxic
when you are
marriage.
not in it.
Yeah. You've
Either
checked
be
out.
in it or be out of it.
That's powerful.
So that we can decide whether to go back into it or to do that. So my word would be, don't hang on there. Get done with it.
Wow.
And let's know what we are dealing with.
Thank you so much, Ntate. This has been wonderful. I wish we could just go on and on and on.
It was a pleasure.
But we were talking to Ntate Tsepiso, Sesioana. What a beautiful conversation we had. Friends, we have to cut it here. Thank you so much for taking time to watch this. From the Kingdom of Lesotho, this is the MelVee Podcast on the Go. God bless you. Remember, before you check out, just hit that red button, subscribe to this channel, and get in touch with us. We may be in your country. We would love to sit down and talk about practical, personal stories that are relevant to your life. May God bless you. See you on the next episode. Goodbye.